Hello, beloveds. Happy 12/12 at 12/12. I got a little ping just about 30 minutes ago that it would be really nice to align with the numerology of this time, preceding our new moon in Sagittarius. And also Mercury retrograde. So let's hope that all of the technology that I'm using supports this message. I'm just going to go ahead and start to drop in, just asking for the sacred space to open to deliver messages of truth, of healing, of enlightenment and wisdom to guide us through this time with this new moon, delivering the seeds that help us to grow more firmly into our true nature and live from the highest expression of our hearts. And so it is. Yeah, guys, new moon and Mercury retrograde over our holiday season. I'm already seeing it with my phone, with communication, and yet it's not totally clear. And for me, being ruled by Mercury, I can either have like one of two extremes. I'm either very clear in my communication, or it can be kind of choppy and cluttered, and I'm actually feeling a little bit of both. This is kind of the first time I've felt this like dancing of going back and forth with it. So let's go ahead and consult with the energy and use these oracle cards to bring in some transmissions that will help us to assimilate what is coming through and how we can just work with these energies. So the first card that I pulled is regret, and that's at the very top here, foundation card. It says, I know that I cannot change the past. And I'm following this card with the Earth Keeper and the Sacrifice. I'm going to read more on this regret card. This is kind of interesting that this is at the very top here. And I don't usually use these cards for the foundational pull, but maybe this has to do with Mercury retrograde and things kind of get turned and shaken and changed, recapitulated. We get a whole new view on life and the way that we commune, since Mercury is the planet of communication. Let's hear about this. The soul doesn't know time. Time is a construct of the physical dimension. To your soul, there is only one big now. Think of the past as the now that has already been created, and the future is the now that has yet to be created. You don't have the power to uncreate the past, so let that go. Your power of creation lies in your awareness of the present. You have the power to not only create your future, but also create acceptance of your past. You should realize that you are the total summation of every single experience you have had. These experiences have helped shape you into the person you are today. Train yourself not to judge past events as good or bad, but as opportunities. What have you learned from the past that will help enrich your future? All right, so what I'm just starting to tune into is this. Maybe we are dissolving some cycles that have been appearing through the eclipse. And we're on the other side of it, but it's like now things have settled. We've started to get a better judgment on what has been keeping us in like these old cycles and old habits. And I know for me, I've actually had moments where I've had some regret, which is unusual for me. But I believe that really what is coming through in this is being able to really turn more of our focus to what we are creating here and now. And so, of course, anytime that we go digging into the past, maybe too much, where we're residing there, where we're not just seeking to understand, but seeking to kind of relive it. And so because we are experiencing that in the moment, we start creating these future timelines and future experiences that are just mimicking the past. So the freedom card is beneath this. It says, I am called here to be free. Let me read this all together so that we can start weaving this energy into something that helps us retrieve our power during this new moon. Just as you're involved in co-creating your world, you are also responsible for its well-being. The Earth Keepers are dedicated to the stewardship of the earth and all life. They choose to hold the sacred dream of a planet where all beings live in peace and where the rivers and air are clean. Remember that everything you do has an impact for 7 generations. You have outgrown your small dream of success and achievement and are ready to dream big with possibilities beyond your wildest expectations. Take on the mantle of the Earth Keeper and reach out to a friend in need whom you may not have been in touch with for some time. Take care of your pets and feed the strays that come by. Clean up your yard, as this is a reflection of your relationship to the earth. Grow the sacred dream and your personal life will flourish. Remember, it's not about me any longer. As you care for your body, you show your care for Mother Earth. So begin with the stewardship of your health. What are you putting in your mouth? Are you feeding on foods and thoughts that are not good for you? Start doing what you know will be good for you today. Very interesting. As the image is starting to come more together here about this stage of being in the permanence of the now. And when I say that, it's the eternal now. And I'm going to lean into this next card too before we go any further. And I have personally been seeing this message about coming home to the body, coming home to the self, evaluating how is it that we live in the body? What is the relationship with the body? Do we listen to its signals and its messages? And this part about freedom, this is it. This is the ultimate place to reach, the moment, the exalted state of just being fully here right now in this breath, in this body. So it's not that we are trying to get somewhere. We are trying to get healed. We are trying to get to a destination. We are trying to become something, right? It's how do we become by being? How do we create from the quality of being in the moment? I hear the word integrity, like bringing that maybe that word into your mindfulness practices, your meditation practices. What does it mean to be in integrity? What does it mean to be in integrity with your virtue and the virtue through the body? And this is what makes freedom so powerful. It's not dependent on anything outside of us. It doesn't arrive because of a single event or a singular person in our life, no matter how significant. Freedom comes from within. So we can experience freedom even in the midst of the most tremendous pain or the most stressful circumstances. Freedom is not bound to anything that is temporary. And in Galatians 5:13 it says, "Remember, friends, to you the call came to give you freedom." We are called here to be free, both externally and internally. We cultivate this state of feeling free by remembering that freedom is our birthright. No matter what unfolds, no matter how often the ego tries to bind us in one of its 7 powers, there's a freedom that comes from within. It's a freedom that no one can ever take from us. There's a freedom that's divine. It's witnessed and then passed on from heart to liberated heart. There's a freedom that comes from knowing true peace, from remembering the good we are, from aligning again with the source of love itself. What does freedom feel like for you in this moment? Freedom from the past, freedom from regret, freedom from the thoughts that keep us bound and judging and trying to change and shoulding all over ourselves. I said should. It should have been this way. I should be this way. And where this is leading us is into the sacrifice. And this means to make sacred. It's an offering of gratitude made from the heart, a feast of love prepared for spirit. The sacrifice asks that you offer to spirit that which is most precious to you. Your offering will be sanctified and returned tenfold. You will be elevated to the altar at which you have been praying and meet the divine at the table with the heavenly feast. You are a welcome guest in this banquet. Your heart is the only worthy offering you can bring. Life has been generous with you in so many ways. It is time to offer it all to Spirit so that it may unfold as it will. Do not cling to the old form or allow your sacrifice to weigh heavily upon you. You have sacrificed yourself and your dreams for far too long. Now is the time to rededicate yourself to the journey. When you make sacred, you open the doors to infinite wealth. Do not delay. When I received this message, for me personally, at the point that I'm at in my life, a lot of this is the surrendering of control, of the illusion that if I do something outside of myself, that it will change the way I feel inside about the circumstances. And for example, maybe this will resonate for someone. We are in a season where, there's a lot of spending of money and spending of time and spending of energy. And there have been points along my journey where there was some of that scarcity of, maybe there was someone that needed help, or maybe someone that my heart really wanted to show appreciation for, but I didn't feel like I had the money. And maybe my bank account would have confirmed that to me, but the reality of it was that I was being presented with the opportunity to grow out of the old forms of being limited by money, limited to express my love, limited to express my service, limited in the way that God was wanting, or the universe was wanting to come through, love was wanting to come through, to be a conduit. And so with that, I ended up having to kind of lean in and sacrifice the fear that I wasn't going to be able to pay for, a light bill, or to pay for my gas, or to pay for something I wanted later. I had to sacrifice what felt very precious to me. It felt like a sacrifice of money, but really what it was a sacrifice of the fear that was preventing me from opening to the universal flow of currency in all of its forms. And so I invite you to find that thing, find that edge, find that place that you really kind of hold on to. And to let go into that, to let go into trusting. If you're fully here right now, you can have no regret. And if you're fully here right now, then there's no thought about not being able to have enough later. That's an indicator that you're not here. There's more that's wanting to come through. So I've got the health card. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. This is pointing back to the body, the relationship with the body. Okay, and this practice of embodiment. This is a term that I think, from what I have seen, really isn't founded in understanding the relationship with the body, what the body is, what the body would like to be. The body is not something that we use. The body is actually its own intelligence that is created from all of the elements to house the soul, to house the light. And there's so many things that go unnoticed about this intelligence and this avatar, if you will. So somehow this is starting to weave together another picture about sacrificing our need to control the future from our fears of the past. Why would we need to control the future unless we had a past experience that told us to fear, or that we were limited, that we're separate from source? So with the health card, I also pulled Viracocha, honoring the light. Honoring the light. So we honor the health of the body as well as the light. And when we do this, the body is vibrant. What is weighing you down? What is maybe a pattern that has been getting reflected to you recently? It's making you feel a little dull, a little constrained, a little anxious. And how can you create a sacred offering of that? Really give it over. I like the idea of God boxes, if you're familiar with that is, or creating some kind of altar, creating something that you can see. Rituals are really important to create deep underlying change in the brain. Alberto Villoldo has done some really great studies on that, and I can't remember. It might be The Way of the Shaman, his book, The Way of the Shaman, that he references those studies. But we are able to undergo a shift in consciousness, and therefore like a repatterning of the neural conductivity, the neural pathways, which then translate into the habitual patterns in the body and the body's systems, the way that they regulate. It seems that this is a time with this new moon to face that thing that has been kind of tapping, or maybe it's been banging loudly now. How do you practice giving it over? Where you write it out. You write out your concerns, your worries, your fears, your emotions, your thoughts onto a piece of paper, and burn it in the fire, or put it in the box, or create some kind of picture, or set pictures on the altar that represent being free of that. That the way forward is here and now, and to not continue to revisit the old stuff too much. Become aware of it, and then become aware in this moment. It does not have to be the next moment. It does not have to, you don't have to keep reliving the past. You are a light bearer. Your sole purpose is to redress the presence of darkness on this planet through shining the light. And your light shines the brightest when you are fully embedded in the body, on the planet, present. You are meant to do this in the ways that feel most uplifting to you. What brings brightness to your spirit? Do those things. How can you create a loving legacy to remind others of the light? Exploring and expressing the light in ways that remind others to seek light is also a way to fulfill your divine destiny. Your light is powerful. Oh, so powerful. Use it. Dance and sing. Do the things that make you feel light and joyous. And if there are those moments where you feel heavy and conflicted, seek to be fully there in it. Seek to be right there, accepting what is. That is freedom. To not feel like you have to escape. So people around you, perhaps even you, can sometimes get caught up in the troubles of the world and forget to focus on the light and their own creative power. Gently but persistently, remind yourself and others to ask for divine help. This can be done according to each individual's belief system. Prayers will be answered. Focus on the light at specific moments during each day. Place sacred objects in your line of vision so you see them and remember the light often. You are a light worker, a light bearer, one who is divinely designed to receive and transmit light for the benefit of humankind and Mother Earth. You have more influence in situations to bring about divine conclusions than you may realize. Don't be afraid to use your light in all possible ways. The great creator deity in the pre-Inca tradition from the Andes region is Viracocha. He is said to have risen from Lake Titicaca during the time of darkness to bring forth light. He made the sun, the moon, and the stars. His wisdom teachings remind us of the importance of creating numerous ways to experience and remember the light and to reflect it to ourselves in the world. Creating things in our minds and our world that reflect divine light is vital. These can be simple altars, sacred spaces, beautiful sacred objects, or the act of burning incense, playing beautiful music, the daily practice of meditation and oracle readings, prayer, conscious dance, or art. Choose whatever it is that helps you honor the light and reinforces it as an authentic presence within your being. And through regular practice, a radiance will be ignited and its flames fanned within. Our soul becomes a lighthouse to help others find their way. It is so. It is so. All right. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. Your body is a temple and you are responsible for its care. You have chosen to incarnate in this physical dimension, learning certain lessons, and to maintain your physical vehicle that your soul has chosen. Your health is a vital element for your soul's progress, and you should never take it for granted. Be sensible about nourishment and exercise. This card may also signify a desire to assist other beings through physical or emotional work. You may be involved professionally in any field, bodywork, medical, or psychiatric or counseling. Maybe you're just a good listener who possesses sage advice. If you or someone you know inherited a congenital disease, past life work may be some benefit. But be here and now. Make time for rituals, for protection, for cleansing, before and after your work, so your mind can come back and your heart may be centered through the day to rejuvenate your body. So boundaries are coming into play here, and when I hear boundaries, I'm also seeing this as forms of discipline, of self-discipline. What are your boundaries with yourself around good habits? What are your boundaries around yourself, around the habits that keep you in the past, that keep you retelling the stories, you doing the thing that makes you feel the way, that makes you think this about yourself, or makes you think this about life? How do we move forward and to not regret the thing that we did, the stuff that we said, the behaviors? Let it go. Let it go. Be reborn into the eternal now. You're being called to create clear boundaries in your life. And this could be with your friends, family, work, or self. Saying yes when you really mean no leads to resentment, which is the biggest energy drain ever. At first, it might only be a little bit and not feel like a big deal, but before you know it, your energy field becomes porous and you are left feeling depleted, resentful, or taken advantage of. Saying no and having clear boundaries, I wonder why that just came in. Clear spiritual boundaries is actually a spiritual act. The most giving, loving, compassionate people are those with the clearest boundaries. For when they say yes, they're able to give unconditionally. When your boundaries are clear, others know where they stand, and you are able to give freely. If you are not clear where your boundaries lie, this causes confusion, resentment, and energetic cords to be planted. If you are saying yes when you really mean no, you are likely needing something yourself. Ask yourself, what part of me needs something from them or from the situation? What are you getting out of it by saying yes when you really don't want to? Stop living from the past. Stop living from the fears. Sacrifice that fear of saying yes or saying no. Sacrifice the fear of displeasing someone. It could be a need for approval, a fear of being seen in a certain way, or a fear of loss. The best way to gauge your boundaries is to check in with your belly. Your belly is your second brain, and it has an intelligence known as your gut feelings. It's also the place where our intuition is. Tune into this space when deciding what is okay for you. How does it feel? What is it trying to communicate with you? This comes back to your body too. Like the more clear of a relationship you have with your body, the more heightened your intuition is, the more available you are to know at choice points what is in integrity, meaning you being completely authentic you really don't feel like going to that thing, the answer is no, even though you want to be perceived or not left out. And then, where in your life do you need to establish better boundaries? Holidays tend to bring this up too. And perhaps there are people that you have to be around or places that you have to go. Or do you? Why are you choosing to do it? Can you let go of the past? Or what part of the past is making you make a choice that makes you feel out of alignment? And first get very clear about that. Surrender it, sacrifice that fear, and then make a choice from a place that feels true to who you are, honoring that relationship with your body. So the more that you can do some of these embodied practices, exercise, pranayama breathing, any kind of movement-based, singing, dancing, being outside on the earth, taking walks, anything that is like tantric in nature, which I mean is sensual, is enlivening to the senses. These can help to clarify the relationship with your body and therefore clarify your boundaries, clarify your relationship with your intuition, which is your relationship with spirit. Part of me wants to draw a couple more cards, but this feels really concise. I'm gonna draw two more. And I got the Seer and Taming the Wind. The Taming the Wind has come to me a good bit here recently. And when I think of the wind, I think of the mind and also the trust, the getting still enough to be able to perceive, but also trusting where the winds of destiny, those currents, take us. This symbolizes a clearing ceremony. It's a symbol of consciously bringing the spiritual into the material, infusing the world with reverence and the acknowledgement of the higher planes of existence that influence and animate all life. The feather is a symbolic reminder of deliberately entering into partnership with Great Spirit to co-create for the highest good for all. It's time to clear your energy, be present, become conscious of how you communicate. This is a good time to write in a journal and put your thoughts into cohesive form. Perhaps you need to actually do a smudging ceremony in your home or office, creating a sacred space to write about your dreams and desires. And remembering that this is a time of clearing misunderstandings with others, clearing the air after disagreements, and allowing others to share their side of things. You're called on to be a good listener. It's not a time to be right, but rather a time to understand and be understood. And you will be surprised at how things get resolved when you allow for all sides to be valued. Yeah. Are you saying no because you're afraid of conflict? Are you afraid of having to speak your truth and the way that that might be met? Is there some place where maybe clearing the air or showing up and being truthful, that is you acknowledging and setting the boundary with yourself, that you will not allow yourself to live in fear, you will not allow yourself to become small in the presence of other beings, because you show up, you stand up, and you speak what needs to be said, because not because you need to be right, but because you need to allow love to manifest in a situation where it's been deprived. And the seer, this comes to me as a form of when you are engaging with life in a way that's reverent and doing this self-awareness, self-assessment, sincerely showing up for yourself and for your others to be free, that the gift of vision opens. It opens naturally as you're aligned with the present and current moment, and you're not in the past and you're not in the future. Even though the nervous system and the body still may have those memories and you may still have that experience. The quest is to surrender the thought processes that keep you from rewriting the story in the body, or rather clearing the story in the body. Because there's really nothing new to be written. It's that we must purify the programming to then project the true and flawless essence of the being. This card represents the capacity to reach beyond the obvious details of life into the hidden realms where information is available to those with discernment to perceive it. The symbol represents psychic perception, intuition, and the capacity to know something without prior exposure. The seer knows truth, always seeks truth beyond all else, and sees reality as it truly is without judgment. The seer can read between the lines and understand what is not being said. This is the power of clarity and being able to recognize patterns. The seer invites you to trust your intuition and to follow it as it leads you forward. You may feel lost when it appears that your hunch is taking you in circles or even in a maze, but the hidden realms don't follow the rules of a two-dimensional map. Trust your gut and allow your perception of your circumstances to widen to include the nuances and subtle cues that you normally miss if you take things at face value. The seer has arrived now to challenge you to get out of denial and begin telling yourself the truth about your situation. Wishful thinking will not make you what you desire happen when you're refusing to see things as they are. The truth may hurt, but it will set you free to claim the bounty that is waiting for you to notice. This is a moment of true power. The seer offers you his medicine. When you are ready, surrender your vision to spirit and ask to be shown the truth, no matter the price. And once you do, your eyes will open and you will receive a powerful gift. Aho, aho. And now this reading is complete as we bring this cycle, this time of winter, which it asks us to surrender to the inevitable, to the death of what is unknown, to not knowing what's on the other side, which allows us to come face to face with our deepest fears. May you move through this time effortlessly with diligence and grace and love and precision, remembering that we all just wish to be free and that you deserve that freedom. And as you create that freedom in your life, so too will the world reflect that back. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be free and happy, and may my thoughts, words, and actions create that freedom upon this world and in this universe. And so it is. Please, if you have not, subscribe, share, help increase the algorithm so others can see these messages and receive these transmissions, and giving great thanks to the angels, to the beings, and to the energy of this new moon in Sagittarius that is driving us towards living in being, an expression of truth, of being holy. And so it is. Keep it pure and stay simple.